All right, I'm switching out the bottom board on my beehive. This is the first time I've done this, which is kind of everything with this whole beehive experience for the most part. You can see it's a really warm day, so got a good number of them out here on the front. It is called bearding, or they're just trying to maintain the temperature a bit better. And what I am going to do here is swap out the bottom board because, again, you can see it's in pretty rough shape. And because it does get warm here where I live, I'm going to swap that out with a screened bottom board, which should do a few things, provide some ventilation, should also help me to keep tabs on any kind of mite infestation, that kind of stuff. So don't do anything that I'm doing because I'm probably doing it wrong, but you can enjoy what happens next. We'll see. Okay. Okay, so now my plan is to take the top off and then take the whole hive off, both boxes, the main box and the honey super, set them on the top, and then swap out the bottom board. So that is the plan. Curious to see if there's anything going on inside the honey super. The last time I've checked, hasn't been a whole lot of activity, but right off the bat there's some bees up there, so that's, I guess, interesting. A few of them. Oh boy, looks like there's some ants here, which that is not great. We'll have to see what it looks like in the main part here. Hopefully there isn't like an ant hive kind of deal. What I've read is that basically if there's just a few here and there, that's okay. Well, it looks like there's a good amount of activity up here, I think. Anyways, I'll check that out a little bit later. Okay. So this is gonna be kind of interesting here. Let's see. Hoping I can just kind of ease this off. This has been on here for years now, and bees make different kinds of products, and one of them is called propolis. I think I'm saying that right. And that's basically like sticky connective types of wax. Someone's gonna watch this and say, no, that's not what it is, and I'm going to say thank you, because I am just regurgitating what I have seen and read and heard on the internet. So that's not entirely true. I had somebody who kind of first got me into keeping a beehive, and they did some kind of initial, like, you know, help with getting me going here. So I know a tiny bit, just not a whole lot. Okay, so now I'm wondering just lift this off altogether. And keep in mind, this is not light, because there are a lot of bees and a lot of wax, and at this point honey and or nectar, all sorts of different things. So I'm going to try to do this without dropping this. Oh boy. Okay, that was not as firm a foundation. Okay, but I think that's okay. But there are quite a few bees on top of here. And you can see they've actually done some cross-combing here onto the bottom board. So, not the end of the world. I'm just gonna remove that bottom board, and here's the screen bottom board. So I'll get this out. That should give us good ventilation, and then that bottom thing comes out. I'll show you that in a sec. Gives us some good ventilation and the other stuff. So, here we go. Try to do this very gently. Big spider webs here. You can see there's been some black widows, brown widows, something like that down here. See their egg sacs. I don't think any of this is active, but might as well. The bees are not too happy with me right now, but they're not too, don't seem like they're too aggressive. They're just kind of wondering what's up. So, here we go. Here's this guy. Okay. It's nice and centered there. Probably should have thought this out better as far as leveling this guy, because I don't think it's on that level. That's not too bad. Not too bad. That's something I can do at another time. Now this thing is covered in beeswax, and I'm sure they are curious about that. So yeah. Okay, now I'm going to put the hive back on top, and then I'm going to brush the bees that were on the old bottom board kind of into the hive, and they won't like that for a bit, but it should be okay. Alright, so same thing, operation do not drop, heavy beehive. Oh, come on girls. Careful, careful. Okay. So far, so good. That went decently well, I think. Yeah. Okay. So now I'm going to go ahead and take the opportunity to take the honey super off, and first I'm going to see what kind of activity is going on in here. Just kind of random bees so far. Some on those frames. Okay, now this one seems like, yeah, they're drawing out comb on this one. There's a few that they're drawing out comb. So that's good. So I'm gonna pull this guy out for now, so I can give myself a little bit more space to work with. Well, they haven't been doing this enough. I'm gonna just give a little bit of this to hopefully calm them down a bit. Okay. So far, so good. So the propolis is kind of what's holding these all on together, kind of stuck in place. Yeah, look at that. So there's some comb that they're drawing out there. That was a blank foundation. It means it had the little hexagons, but nothing pulled out kind of in the 3 dimensions, just a very tiny little bit. So they're starting to make honey in those, which is very cool. Okay, let me see how many we got. They're like that. This one too. Looks like they're drawing out some comb. This one's really stuck in here. Yeah. And I think this last one definitely. Oh man, this one down on the end it's got quite a bit. Now hopefully that's actually yeah, very cool. Look at that. Good. So some good activity here in the honey super. That's great. Trying to be very gentle so I don't smash these girls when I'm pulling this back down in. Okay, and I want to take a look at the last one here. There's a lot of activity in between this last one here and the side of the box, and so I'm hoping they're not drawing out comb on the box itself, but there's a good chance of it, honestly. It's just because I don't think these foundations were waxed. So yeah, maybe a little there, not too bad, but this one has a lot of good activity, so that's great. Okay. Back into place here. Okay, and I'll put this guy in there. This one doesn't have a foundation. I probably should get that and put it in, but I don't think I've got one with a foundation on it. Maybe. I'll have to check. Okay. So put that in there. This is mostly just to keep tight spacing on the rest of them so they don't cross comb. All right. Now, I'm going to take this guy off. And I'm going to try to get that to be a little more even. Let's see. Okay. And now, I'm sure this will be stuck here. Oh, not too bad. Okay. Now this thing here is the queen excluder, which is the goal of this is to keep the queen out of the honey super, so that basically you only get honey made in the honey super, and you get baby bees made down below. And oh boy, this is going to be a to-do. I know this has been coming, but there's a huge amount of cross combing going on here. You can see just because I left this hive box here and it was empty for a long time, and I was just kind of hopeful that I would one day get another hive again. Didn't really expect to one day come out and find a bunch of bees in my old hive box. So a wandering passerby beehive came by and jumped in here, and they have been so active. This is amazing. So I don't think I'm gonna take any of this apart, because what's needed next is it's a much bigger job. You can basically see, like, here's one frame, but for this one frame there's basically, I think there's going to be, you know, comb here, and then they've built out here as well, and the same thing here, one here and one here. So, you know, this should be like, how many are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There should be 10 frames here, and I only have 7. So the bees have done what the bees do, and they fill that in, which is fantastic and wonderful. But it means one day I'm going to have to come out here and I'll have to cut some of that extra comb and add it to one of these frames that doesn't have foundation, which I think I've got one in there, and if not, I can just pop out some foundation. But I need to do that soon, because they'll just keep filling this up as long as it's here. Okay, so last thing I'm going to do is, let's see, I'm going to put this guy like this. Oh, there's a lot on the bottom there. So I'm going to go like that. And then this is going to be a little interesting, because that old bottom board has a bunch of bees on it still, and I want those to go back into the hive. So I think I'm just going to brush them off as best I can. Bunch of spider activity here, and then I'll just leave this old they're telling me no thank you. I know girls. This probably isn't super necessary, but I'm gonna do like that. Problem is they have they've brood on here at this point, so they're not happy about giving that up. So they're not happy with me. So I'm gonna go like that for now. Okay, let's give them a little more smoke. Hopefully I got some to give. Not too much. I can get a little bit out of there. A little bit. Alright. Now, while I got this open, I want to take a picture. Okay, now is the time to put it all back together. So, overall pretty encouraging, I would say. So I'm gonna get this here, not smushing too many of the bees. A little bit of an inevitability unfortunately. Doing my best though. Okay. You gotta get in there. Okay. Now honey super goes back on. Okay. All right. And now I will put the lid back on here. Only concern is that since there's brood on this bottom board, they're not going to want to leave this alone. So I don't know what to do about that. But what I'm going to do is just leave this like this and count on them to return to the hive overnight. And I'll come out here either late tonight or first thing in the morning and see if I can get them back in. Okay. Oh, and then this thing comes out. So it gives them extra ventilation down below, and I can see kind of evidence of hive trash, right? The varroa mites and anything else. So there. Okay. All done.